Welcome to May 20th, 2023. I'm Jake of Tradelab.AI, and we're going to go over this week's weekly updates and answer any questions and talk about what's coming up next. So, first thing on the list is we got 6 more days in our trading competition. So we've been running a Bitget trading competition. They've sponsored it, and they've given up to $10,000 in prizes. I actually think that there's probably $5,000 up for grabs right now. We do have to hit a certain number of volume to get to that $10,000 prize. I think that volume was, how much is that? I don't know, actually. I'll have to go look again. I thought it was listed on this page, but there's a certain amount of volume that we have to get to the 10,000. Oh, here it is. Will be unlocked when there's 300 or more participants or 20 million in trading volume. So we don't have that quite enough. We got one guy who's actually crossed 1 million in trading, and we got a couple that are above 500,000, and I think we've had maybe a couple dozen people join, but not that many. So this is the first bigger competition that we ran, an actual trading competition with Bitget. We do plan on doing more, so look out for those. So far we got some people who are going to be winning. If I go back and look at my other, I get sent these from Bitget every once in a while, and it'll actually show you the estimated reward. So the first place prize is going to get $1,000, second gets $750, third gets $500, and then everybody in the top 10 gets $142. Right? So the person in last top 10 is Viper Crypto with 23,000. So good luck to everybody, but like I guess is what I'm saying is it doesn't take all that much. You in a week you can come in and do this. I've talked to Vils, and he was saying that he's only been trading maybe $100 on each of his trades, and he maybe has 2 or 3 trades open at the same time. So not that many, right? So he's maybe trading $300 of his money at any given time, and he just keeps trading it over and over and over. He trades, he'll open it, that's $100. When you do the sell to close it, that's $100, right? And so that's $200 on just the $100 that you just traded, and very quickly he's up to over $500,000 here. And he doesn't have $500,000. So when we talk about trading volume and we talk about, people want to do 50K, Bitget, we provide Bitget for free. And the catch is that we would like you to do 50K or more a month. If you don't do 50K, Bitget doesn't pay us, and I have to eat all of that, that you used. And I usually don't kick people off or make a big deal about it, but if we do find somebody who's gone multiple months without hitting that, then I usually reach out and say, hey, what can we do to help? But as to say though, we don't have that many because it's honestly not that hard to hit 50K. When anybody first hears that, they think, oh man, that must be a lot of money, but it really isn't. Even just talking about trading 100, but then you think about the leverage that we were just talking about. Maybe Vils on 5x leverage, so he's not trading 100, he's trading 500, right? So just examples here, but so that's the first thing I wanted to cover is we've been running this for about a month now. We got 6 days left, so join up and see if you can get that top 10 spot. And if not, look for it next time. We should have another one come in sometime during the summer, I think. All right. So let's talk about some of the big updates that have gone on. I did record something a couple weeks ago when we released the big update and went through all of the different features and additions that we did a couple weeks ago. And I never did actually release that video because I got sidetracked. So I want to go through again all the different things that have happened in the past month now, with changes to Tradelab, changes to the back end, and then we'll talk about what's coming up after all that. Okay, so a couple weeks ago, I released one of the bigger updates that we've done this year. The update consisted of a lot of back-end stuff that was things like the CCXT update, things like alert queue redesign, and things of that nature. And these things, I'll go through them more in depth here in a second, but generally these things have done a couple big benefits for us. These things bring us a couple big benefits. So the first thing is we have sped up some of the system, and there's still a couple things that I want to do. We're not as fast as we could be because I had to make some concessions as we released everything, but the architecture that we have now should allow us to scale a whole lot better. Should allow us to scale the incoming traffic for alerts separately from everything else, and it should also allow us to react to traffic changes quicker, right, and be able to facilitate scaling much more in a much more reactive manner. So if that makes sense. Basically what I've done is I've taken the alert queue, which is a queue that handles all the alerts that come in. We have over 100, 200 alerts that'll come in a span of like 10 seconds. Right? Sometimes if you're talking about like the top of the hour, like if the clock strikes 1 o'clock, that's when a lot of like 1 hour candles will fire their alerts and everything. So at those times, we sometimes get 1,000 alerts within 1 minute, right? So that all has to be processed. It has to be run. If we have to open orders, we got to do that quickly. And if you got 1,000 alerts that are sending all at the same time, we have to have enough bandwidth to try to process all of that within 5-10 seconds at the very max, so that people aren't waiting, right? I have been working with a couple of people in the background. There's some larger organizations that are looking to run really large amounts of volume through, I think right now, the entire Tradelab system maybe does around $20 million a month across different exchanges and everything. They're looking at putting $20 million a month in themselves, right? The one particular organization, and then we're looking at doing other organizations like that, and that's the type of business that we need. And so to facilitate that, I've been working closely with them to get this time down, right? So part of this was to get the time down. Part of it was also to make it so that we can run more complicated strategies without alerts running into each other, right? So the biggest difference of this new alert queue is that you can now send 3 alerts for the same strategy all at the same time, and they won't run into each other. The way that it's supposed to work is that if you send 3 alerts, they're going to run one behind the other. And that's important because if you have rules that are saving if you have rules that are saving variables or checking other variables or things of that nature, you can't have 2 of the alerts running at the same time because they might miss each other, if that makes sense. And that's what we had happen. And so some people who were running more complicated commander strategies sometimes had problems with alerts coming in on top of each other. And so that's one of the main reasons why we switched the alert queue, was for reliability in terms of multiple alerts at the same time, and also scalability and speed. Since we've done that, we've seen the execution time come down quite a bit. There has been a couple times where it's been higher, and I've looked into that, and we're working on it. But for the most part, we're seeing a lot of people with, 2 to 4 seconds, complete return time, and really by the time the order sends, in a 4-second order, you're probably talking more like 3.5 seconds, right? Because it's got to wrap up, and I got a timer on the whole thing. So the whole thing took 4 seconds, and from the time that I got it to the time that it finally sent was maybe like 3.5 seconds, if that makes sense. But yeah, so we're getting faster. We're able to scale better and support more things. We're also working on a bunch of different options. This isn't coming right away, but this is what I'm working on in the background with these guys. A bunch of different options to customize order flow. Right now, we make a bunch of different calls to make sure that we catch every instance, catch every use case that could happen. And because we're catching every use case, we're making some calls when we go to place an order that in some other use cases we wouldn't always have to make. And there's some cases where I'm able to tell if you need it or not, and I can just do that automatically. There's some things in there that I already tried to cut down and optimize, but there's some things that I don't quite know if you need it or not. And so what I'm going to do, and I'm assuming it for everybody, and I'm putting those calls in for everybody, but that's slowing things down a little bit. And so if we can cut some of those calls out, we can speed up the order process even faster, right? And so that's what I'm looking at creating modules for, so that we can sort of turn those features on and off. Okay, so that was a lot, but basically we've had quite a bit of back-end stuff that I can't really show per se, but we've had quite a few changes on the alerts and running alerts, processing them, and getting results from that. Okay, so there's that. That was probably honestly the biggest thing that happened, and I released this about 2 weeks ago, and for the past week and a half, 2 weeks, I've been, tweaking and dealing with scaling issues and the fallout of that. I designed this over the course of several months, and I tested it for several months, and it worked fine. However, when transferring it to the larger scale, to production, where everybody is, where we have hundreds of users and thousands of alerts coming in, it took a little bit more tinkering, and unfortunately there wasn't any other place that I could do that tinkering. I had to have the load. Like, I tried to simulate a load. I made a bunch of fake accounts and I put a bunch of alerts and stuff, but it just wasn't nearly as much, right? And so as we went over to production, we had a couple growing pains, and we worked through those. So thank you for everybody who's had issues in the past couple of weeks, who's stuck with it and given me feedback. Really appreciate it, and I think we're in a much better place now. So there's that. Another thing that happened in the back end, I said, was the CCXT update. So this affected many different exchanges. One of the two biggest was Bybit and Phemex. So Bybit has complete support for unified margin now. There was issues with the unified margin previously. Older unified accounts could work, but newer unified accounts, Bybit had changed something for their V5 API and had broken all of that. So that now works. We also did a bunch of work on Phemex, and Phemex now supports USDT symbols. So that's great. And yeah, there's a host of updates. Bitget got a few updates through CCXT. Um, but yeah, so if you don't know, CCXT is the library that we use to connect to exchanges. It connects to dozens and dozens of exchanges. So anytime that it updates, it's a big thing on my end to make sure that everything still works and that nothing broke. But every time they update, they give us goodies, good stuff that people want. So good for that. We got CCXT in there. We got the back end updates for alerts. Let's talk about some stuff that you guys can actually see. So there's been quite a few things. Hold on 1 second here. Okay, so yes. All right. So the first thing, one of the biggest things that this brought is copy trading. So PJ is here. He's been using copy trading. I know a couple other people have been using copy trading. So copy trading is finally ready. This is basically what it looks like whenever you copy something that is not a template but just a copy trade. It'll say following right here, and so that's how you know it's not a strategy but just a copy trade. And then if you hit edit, instead of going into the builder, it pops up this little box and you can select your exchange, the amount, and your leverage. Then you can hit save, and that's how you set up copy trading for any of your strategies that you copy. And you can copy these from the community browser. So if we go over, sorry, 1 second. If we go over to the community browser, we will see that we have quite a few new templates from TACbots. We got, looks like a CM test, Pepe. We have Mr. Nobody's Champions program, and quite a few others. So you can scroll through here and look at all these. If we say look at Mr. Nobody's Champion program, for instance, if we hit the see all, this has gotten a rework as well, and this loads up all of the strategies in this group. So before we were showing all the strategies in a group in the previous screen, but if groups got too big, then it was hard to load the page and it would take a long time and all that. And so I reworked all of this so that this group for Mr. Nobody, he has 300 strategies in here. So you can click on one of these and you can copy them if you're part of the group, of course. And you can also hit copy all setups or copy trade all up here. So instead of clicking on each individual one and copying them here, you can click on copy all setups and it will let you copy all the strategies all at once. Right. So very good. We can also hit go back to the previous screen, and you can do this for any group, right? So TACbots, Kucoin, I can go and copy all the Kucoin TACbots, just hit copy trade all and do it that way, right? Or hit copy trades right there. Okay, so when you hit copy trades, it will copy that over to my strategies, and then you can set up your strategy just like we showed a second ago. Okay, so the way to set up copy trading, if you have something that you want to set, if you have a strategy that you want to share to others to copy trade with, you can open up a strategy and let's double check, see if things are, I think my computer's just being slow. Alright, so if we take a look here, if we go to the share, in the share tab right here, there is a allow follow. So the allow follow is copy trading. You can follow a strategy. follow along with the trades that it makes. So if you enable sharing and you enable follow, you hit I agree. It tells you all the different rules, right? Don't share things that you pay for. Don't share things that you don't own. That sort of stuff. So once you check that, you can allow follow, and now anybody can copy your trades from this strategy. So you hit save, and it'll show up in the community browser, and you can do that. For those who don't want to share publicly, if you want to share privately, we do have the group system. So you can click the settings button. There's a groups tab, and you can hit the create group button, and that will allow you to create a group and share it with particular users. So you can pick specific strategies that you want to enable. You can say, hey, you can copy this template, or hey, you can only copy trade with this template, right? Up to you. But you can set that up, and then you can save it, and then you can also copy this invite link and send it to a friend. So that's something else that is different, is we have this plus button up here, and you can click on the button and you can put that invite code, that link in here. You can also just click on the link and it'll take care of it, right? But I also have this plus button. You can put in an invite code, and that will allow you to join a private group. Okay, once somebody joins your private group, you will need to come into the group users, and you'll see their name in here, and you'll want to you'll have a checkbox, and you'll basically hit the checkbox to approve that. Okay, so that's how that works. All right, so now what we want to do is take a look back at the list here. So we got copy trading. That's one of the big ones. We talked about the Bybit unified margin support. We also have better Discord command support. So before, if you set up a plugin and you hit Discord, and we did like an input plugin, it would tell you to use this add plugin right here. But if you click the add plugin box and then you pasted it, it wouldn't actually work, because the way that it usually works is you want to type / and then it pops this UI up, right? And then you can enter it in. That's how Discord usually works. If I just paste, it doesn't register as a command. It's just that, right? And so if you pasted this, it didn't actually work. Now it does. So if I paste that, it's going to say alert created, and well, actually, hold on. Let's see. Yeah, that's right, because it's hold on. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, so you can now paste that in, and it will register that. And you can also do it the original way, but that's just, a quality of life thing, right? So better Discord command support for pasting. New distributed queue system for the alerts. We already talked about that. New run group system based on folders. So this is another thing that changed in the background. However, there's something to show here. So you have folders, right? And you have all of your strategies. Well, we've always had this thing called edit strategy run order. And I put this in a long time ago. However, for quite a while, it hasn't really worked the way it's supposed to work, because when I first started this, I used to run all the strategies one by one. So this strategy runs first, then this strategy, then this strategy. But that took too long. And we had too many delays in processing. So I then started running them. I would still order them how you requested, but I would put them in sort of a bucket and say, hey, run everything in the bucket at the same time. So they were in order in the bucket, but that didn't guarantee that this one would actually run and finish before the next one. So there were some situations where commander strategies and other more complicated setups weren't doing exactly what they were supposed to because the strategies were all running at the same time instead of one by one. To fix this, what I've done is created run groups, and I've attached these to folders. So if you have a particular set of strategies that you want to run in a very particular order, you can do that by putting them in a folder. Okay, now not every folder is going to run things synchronously, one by one. Yeah, all the folders that you have currently are running them as they always have, as fast as they can. All the strategies in the main folder are running as fast as they can, all at the same time. If you have a particular folder that has special strategies that must run one by one, you can go up to the top three dots, go to the Edit Strategy Run Order, and you can check the box on whichever folder owns these strategies. So you check the box and you hit Save. Okay, and then you can go into the folder and you can order these. So you can go into the Edit Strategy Run Order and you can drag these up and down. Okay, and so that's how this works. We can order these things, and it's only going to matter if you've checked that box to make that to make that folder a run group. Right. Once it's a run group, it'll run it in order, and yeah. So that should solve some of the more complicated logic issues that we've had, and should help people. So check that out, the run group system. Okay.
So with that, you could use the commander strategy to look for special things that you're looking for, and then the commander strategy goes and grabs those folders and runs them in a group. Is that correct?
Well, no. You would put your commander strategy and all the workers in a folder together, so that you would have your commander strategy and your workers, and then what you would probably do is put your commander strategy up top so that it runs first, and then all the workers run below it. Right?
Fantastic.
And then that way you can guarantee that your commander runs before the workers. All right, so next on the list is a rework of the strategy page. Yeah, so I'm sure you guys have noticed already, but the strategy page got reworked. We used to display all the strategies on one page. We have some people who have over 1,500 strategies in their account right now, and so that became a problem because they couldn't load everything, and when they did, it took forever and blah blah blah. So what we've done now is made 50 strategies per page, and I do have some changes that are coming, I don't know when, but somewhat soon, that are going to allow you to change how many show up on each page, like a little drop down. That'll be like 20, 50, 100, whatever. So if 50 isn't enough and it's too many pages, you can make the pages longer. But what we have here is pages of 50. And you can go through each page, look at it, and you can also, of course, go into the folder, and then you have your folder menu buttons up here as well. It still takes a little bit to load. There is a lot of data here, and there is a lot of stuff that I have to do. I am working on trying to streamline that a little bit more and make it faster, but generally speaking, what's been done here is that if I go to page 2 or page 3, it might take a second, and I think I'm actually maybe a little bit slow right now. I need to check the servers. But one thing, though, is that no matter if you have 70 strategies and you're going from page 1 to page 2, or you have 10,000 strategies and you're going from page 500 to page 501, the time it takes to load and do all of that is the same. Right, so that was the biggest. Before, if you had a lot more strategies, this page would take a lot longer to load. Now that's not the case. You can have as many strategies as you want, and the load times are consistent. Okay. So, yeah, so the paging is a big adjustment. There are some things that I'm still tweaking and still making work. This search doesn't work very well right now because of that, but this is all stuff that I've been working on, and I actually do have working quite a bit better in the testnet right now, right? So hopefully we'll get those things out here soon. Once we get through this list, I'll quickly go through some of the new stuff in testnet that isn't released yet. Rework of the strategy page, better folder handling. So the folders were even slower. Like if you think switching page was slow, going into a folder took even more time. Now it's the same, right? So once again, more consistent load times on the strategy page. Support for accounts with larger amounts of strategies and variables. That's the same thing I just talked about. Did a bunch of changes not only to this page but to the variables as well, and also alerts as well. Got some upgrades. So there's more upgrades coming to the list pages, but lots of upgrades on those lists. Okay. Ability to recover deleted strategies. So if you deleted a strategy and you're like, oh no, I need to bring that back, there's restore deleted strategies. So if you click on that, that brings up everything that I've deleted in the past, and it brings up restore buttons. So I can just hit the restore, and it'll take it off the list and bring it back to my original strategies list. To bring back the original list, you just hit restore deleted strategies again, and it takes you back to the normal list. Okay, so there's that, just a quick little feature. Probably needs a little bit more polish. I'll get back to it, but it does work, and people had asked for that, so that's good. Better alert history loading. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about with alerts. Faster load times with alert history. So just the way that this page loads specifically, not the list page, but this page, how it loads all the rules and everything, it loads a lot faster now. Okay. DCA tweaks, fixes to various exchanges for more reliable placement. Yeah, so there was a few different DCA issues that we had, mostly with Bitget, but it did leak into a couple different exchanges as I was trying to sort of refactor the way that order flow works. And so just overall, we have better handling of DCAs in the sense that when a DCA gets hit, we want to reset all the other lines. We had been doing that, but there was some cases where we were actually resetting the other DCA lines when we weren't supposed to. We're supposed to reset the TPSL lines, but if a DCA gets hit, you don't want to reset the other DCA lines, right? So stuff like that, just making sure that that was applied properly to every exchange. So that's done. Order tables, this is brand new. Brand new stuff. If we go into the builder, I really do need to look at okay. So there's that, and yeah, so if we take a look at the builder, we now have a new tab in the bottom that's called order history. So I've been tracking orders for a long time. I've had orders in my database for a while, but I haven't really showed that on the UI. Actually, the very beginning, I did have an orders page, but we got rid of it, and so now I don't think that we need a whole page for orders. I don't want to make it too complicated, but I do want to show the orders that a strategy has placed. And so not only do I show it here in the order history tab, and you can see, which order was placed when and that sort of stuff, But you can also go to the trade history, and I've replaced that top timeline that took forever to load and all that stuff with the order list. And so this one I think is, I don't know if this failed or not or what happened. Yeah, this one got rejected. So there wasn't any orders shown here. But it does show the list of orders, and it gives you a better idea of, when you opened, when you closed, what TP orders and SL orders were sent and that sort of stuff. So order list, very helpful. I think that's going to be a great addition to everything. We do have a new searching system. That's sort of what I was talking about with the tables. Lots of table updates. The new searching system isn't exactly ready site-wide, but I did install it to the strategy page. Now, like I said, the strategy page, the searching isn't quite working all that well, but the new system that I made is being applied everywhere, and what this new system is it's allowing you to search on multiple fields. So you can now search for the name, the symbol, the exchange, I'm trying to remember. There's like 4 or 5 fields that you can search on now. And so you can just type something in. Oh, tags as well. So if you have tags, it'll search on the tags. So those are the types of things that I'm trying to apply everywhere, like including alert history. Also, I've had a lot of people ask in alert history if they can have their own columns on here so that they can show whatever they want. That is something that I'm working on with a new table system, right? So that you'll be able to make your own table the way that you want. Okay. Close order is now closed position. Yeah, so added a couple new things to the builder, moved a couple things around. Let's take a look at it. So we had some issues in the past with closing orders and closing trades. So if you had 2 different strategies that were running on the same symbol at the same time, you might have a situation where you want to exit one of the trades, but you want to have the other trade still remain open. We used to have a thing called close order, and close order would always close the entire position. So if you had 2 trades, they were on the same position because they're on the same symbol, and we would just close the whole thing. So it would close both trades at the same time from one of them closing. This was confusing to people. We did have a workaround, which was to use decreased position and then use original investment, a percentage of the original investment size. So you could do 100, and then that would only take out just that trade. Well, now I've sort of streamlined it and simplified it. So now we have a closed position, which closes the whole position, and then we have a closed trade, which closes just that trade. Okay, that would be the same thing as doing the decreased position. But instead of 100% of original investment, we now have trade size. So if the trade got increased or decreased, after we originally invested, we can now go off of that updated trade size. So the size of the position might be different from the trade size because we might have 2 different trades in that position, right? So now you have all of that at your disposal. You also have your balance as well. So if you wanted to increase or decrease based on your balance, you can do that as well. So lots of new options there. Also added the new option for cancel orders and cancel all orders. You can also do that over here in the blue rules. So if you placed an order and you're waiting for it to run, waiting for it to fill, your blue rules will still be running. So if you send an alert to your blue rules to say cancel the order or something like that, we can actually, cancel it. Now, before we would have to wait for like the limit timeout, right? We didn't actually have a way to cancel on demand. So now we do. Sorely missed feature, and now it's here. So there's that. I also added append. So you can add, subtract, multiply, divide by numbers. These are all requiring numbers. Append allows you to add to a string. So if you wanted to, you know, have a BTC and you wanted to add USDT to it, you could do that, right? So if an alert came in that just said BTC, but you know it needs to be BTC USDT, you could append USDT to the end. Right? So there's that. I think that's it in terms of new actions. Okay. Alright, decrease current trade field. So if we go into conditions and we look at the current trade, we have a couple new fields now. We have the strategy total profit, and then we also added on the orange rules, once you're in a trade, we have the total size of the trade, which is that same percentage that I was showing you earlier, but this is the USD amount. So the total size. We also have the order entry price and the position entry price. So we used to only have one entry price. Now we have the position entry price and the order entry price. So the order entry price is the entry price for the entry order that opened this trade. The position entry price is the entry price of whatever the position says. As you add to your position with like a DCA, your entry price for your position is going to change. Your order entry price will not change. Okay, so that is how that works. Okay. Oh, and we also added the original amount. So we had original investment, and that was the USD amount that you invested. Original amount is the raw amount. So if you're trading in contracts, this might be the original amount of contracts that you had. And this is before leverage, right? So this is just what you're putting in yourself before the leverage. Okay. All right. Strategy symbol nickname. This is something that we added for PJ and others. This nickname here allows you to easily match TradingView or any other system that has a different name for the symbol when sending an alert. So if you want to send an alert to Tradelab, by default we have lock alert symbol turned on, which means that this strategy will be more performant, it'll run faster, if it only listens for alerts that are for this symbol that it has selected. Of course, that can be turned off, and in more advanced situations like commander strategies and that sort of stuff, you would turn this off. But by default, it's on, and what a lot of people will run into is they might trade on TradingView with Phemex or Bitget or something, and the symbol that's in Tradelab here is not the same as what's listed in TradingView. Okay, and so when you send the alert from TradingView, if you use a dynamic alert for the symbol, like here, you can see it says symbol ticker because I have the dynamic box checked. So instead of saying BTC USD right here, it says ticker. And that ticker is going to make TradingView send its symbol, its ticker symbol. Okay, but if its ticker symbol doesn't match what we have over here, then it didn't work, right? I had plenty of people all through, for months and months would try to get in here and try it, and this is one of the first things they would run into is, oh, well, TradingView isn't sending the correct symbol. Now, of course, that's easy enough to fix. We could just uncheck that dynamic box like I just showed you and fix that. But now it's even easier because all you need to do is figure out what TradingView is sending and then type it in this box. So if TradingView is sending BTC USDT.P, which we sometimes see with Binance or some other ones. Now I can type this in, and anytime either one of these shows up in an alert, it'll run. Okay? So that was a lot of talking to explain something really simple. But yeah, simple nickname, use that with TradingView symbols. Okay? Alright, new help in sidebar. So I do have a new help system. There's more coming to this. I haven't released the whole thing yet, but I'm gonna list different categories and videos and stuff to help you down here. You'll be able to search those resources, and then you can also click on this right now, and this will open up the slideshow that you can actually watch. Look through all the different features and different things that are going on in here. You can also open this up in a new window to get a full screen view of it. This is a pretty long slideshow if anybody has missed this yet. This is 69 pages full of information. It's actually split into 4 different categories: alerts, variables, lines, and rules, which is over here in yellow. So this will tell you how to read rules. It'll tell you how to make rules. It'll tell you how to understand all this stuff. So if you just take a little bit of time and take a look at that, that might help. Once again, you can find this in the new the new help sidebar over here. You hit help, and here it is. Okay, so more to come in this area, so watch out for that. Alright, additional white label options. So I did set up some new white label options, and I guess the best way to show that off is to show off TACBots right now. So TACBots is looking better than ever. We got a landing page here with their own logo and their own picture. You can swap this out. And we added the ability to lock themes and to customize Discord and a bunch of other stuff. So, good there. I also made the white label accessible to anybody who wants it now. So if you have already talked to me and are interested in doing white label and organization, you can find that in the settings screen, and you can actually purchase white label readily in the settings screen in your organization tab if you've been enabled for that. Right. So there, if you go to settings, everyone has access to groups now, right? But there is a hidden thing in here for organizations, and I'll actually log into a different. So not everybody has this new tab. This one here, organization and white label. So if you own a group and want to resell Tradelab, if you want to make your own plans and resell it, make some money on the side with that, and then be able to manage your community in a more direct way, contact me. This is invite only, so if this is something that you want, I can easily turn it on for you, and you'll get a new tab for organization. You can set up your logo, you can set up your website, your video links for introductions, and then you can create plans. And every plan has a price, so you can insert however much you want. We actually give you a discount when you sell the plan, so it's usually $49.99. Now it's only $39, and you get to put in your own. So if you wanted to charge the same that we do, you'd get $10 for every sale that you make. So think of this as sort of like an affiliate plan on steroids, right? You get to have your own logo, your own links. So this is your own buy page. So you get to click on this, and this is your own public buy page that you can preview, and it shows all the plans and all the features that you added. So every plan can have a price. and it can also have a list of features. So you can add as many features, give them names and descriptions, and it'll list all. So you can have different plans, and you can attach each plan to a permission ID. That permission ID can then be used in the groups, so that you can attach different plans to different groups. Different groups can have different strategies, and so now you can charge more for some strategies and less for other strategies, right? So that's how organization works. Once again, it's invite only. If you do want access to that, please contact me. Okay, in addition to that, this is the white label. Like I said, you can sign up for white label now, and it is $200 a month. That is the price for white label. You get your own logo, domain, you get to customize the UI by locking themes, and you can also isolate your community. So if you want to have your own, it's no longer Tradelab anymore. It's TACBots or it's whatever. If I log into here, it no longer says Tradelab. It says TACBots, right? So this is no longer mine, it's yours. There are some things like this once in a while that might show up and say Tradelab, and we'll work with different white labels to smooth that over. But generally speaking, you get to have your own. You get to call it yours. I did all the work. You pay me $200 a month. You get to say it's yours, right? And you get to sell it yourself. You can isolate it, or you can combine it. So if you go into the community browser, you can only see stuff in TACBots here, right? And I'm actually not even a part of TACBots. I didn't pay TACBots, so I can't just come in here and use TACBots' stuff, right? I'm a regular Tradelab user, so I come in here and I'm locked down to TACBots because I can't see anything except what TACBots gives me, which is right now just the basic templates. TACBots has its own strategies that it sells me, but I didn't actually pay TACBots. I'm a Tradelab user, and so I was able to log into the TACBots website, but I'm not able to use or see anything of outside of TACBots. Right? So that's how that works, and that's optional, right? So if you want to have Joe Bob's bot instead of Tradelab, and you don't want to isolate it, then you can. You can have all of the other community strategies in here and let your users use them too. Right, so that's up to you. So new white labeling options. We got a balance enforce option. We'll go back to the builder. So there was some cases where we needed to enforce the balance. I'm actually in TACBots still. All right, so down here, there's an enforced balance on amount. So this is false by default. I didn't enable this by default, but what this does is if you try to trade over your balance, it will cap it to the balance. I find this to be a little bit dangerous in some situations, but it can be really helpful in some situations. So for instance, I traded $100 and now I'm gonna sell, and for whatever reason I get a calculation that it's $200. Okay, well that would be fine, and I would just say $200 and close it, right? And that's called a reduce only order. That happens somewhat frequently, right? That's normal. But this is the opposite situation where I'm entering and I only have $100 in my balance, but I send an order for $200. Depending on the situation, one might say, well, why did I send an order for $200? That's wrong. And maybe it should have only been for $50. I don't want to trade my entire balance, and so maybe there was an error in the math. Maybe there was a miscommunication. Maybe there was a bad alert. But now, instead of erroring, because I don't have $200, I only have $100. So instead of erroring, if you turn this on, it will say, "Oh, you know what? They wanted 200, but you don't have 200, so we're gonna use 100, and we're gonna use all of what you have, and put it in that trade." Right. So more often than not, what this does is this allows it not to fail, and it allows it to basically use all of your money in whatever trade. Now, there's some situations where, I actually had somebody ask for this because there was a situation where they needed it. And so that's why I turned it off by default, but it is there if you ever want to cap your orders, usually most specifically entry orders, to the balance. So if you trade more than your balance, it'll cap it instead of erroring. Okay. Better handling of cash symbols. So there was some situations where symbols didn't always show up. Sometimes they would disappear. I fixed that, and that's working better now. Okay. Phemex support for USDT, we already covered that. And the community browser updates, we already covered these. The group invite by URL, group copy all, group copy trading, and the ability to preset. So this is something that we didn't talk about. But if I go in and say copy all, yeah, it doesn't support it. I gotta go back here to... Okay, so if I try to copy all in here, okay, let's do this, and if I select copy all, it'll ask me, are you sure? I say yes, and then it'll ask me what exchange do I want to apply these to. So before, we would copy 300 strategies and it would copy them in there, but then they would be blank and you would have to set up your exchange for every strategy, and to do that for 300 was just way too much. So now whenever you bulk copy strategies, it'll ask you what exchange you want to use. So you select your exchange, you hit done, and then it'll start copying everything. Okay? Alright, so that is the end of my big list. That's the majority of all the things that have been changed in the past couple weeks. I'm just running through here to make sure I didn't forget anything. Lots of different tweaks, lots of different stuff that went on in the background to make this all possible, but generally speaking, I think that's all that happened that you guys are going to notice. So now let's talk about what I'm working on in the background. So the testnet is up, and it has a couple new features that aren't live yet. So one of those features is a new event system. So we have alerts. You guys know all about alerts. You've done alerts a bunch. We now have events. So events are they are going to be used in a multiple different ways. So events, we have built-in events that happen. These are things like trade open, trade close, a line got hit, something like that. So Tradelab will fire over 70 different events. We have over 70 events that we fire. And what you can do now is you can create a utility rule, and you can click on this area over here, and it will open up a select events. And I'm still working on this, it's not done, but you're able to check any event that you want this rule to run on. So if I want this rule to run on trade open or trade closed, I can make this rule run on that alert, and I can make it run on multiple alerts too. So if I have multiple alerts, I can say multiple events, sorry. I can say run on all 3 of these events, and whenever these events run, this rule will run now. Okay. I can also make my own events, and then I can link that event to these rules and say, hey, I want to run on this custom event. Then I can go and run event as an action. So I used to have a log event, is what I used to call it. It's the same thing. I took out the log, and I just call it event now. And now you can create your own event name. So maybe it's called like market open, right? And you want to fire this event at a certain time with success, and then you're gonna, put the reference in. Maybe it's like market is now opening. The price is, and then I can insert my current price, right? That sort of stuff. Okay, so we got the event in there. That's how you fire events. Events can run rules, and this I'm hoping is going to help us cut down on the number of heartbeats that we have to use. I'm hoping that this is gonna get to the point where most people aren't gonna need to use heartbeats, and we can stop running heartbeats for a lot of strategies, which will free up a lot of processing. We spend a lot of processing running heartbeats right now, and a lot of times the heartbeats don't even do anything, right? But they're there because if you do need them, then you really need them, right? And so there is a way, obviously, to turn off heartbeats, but even in the default templates, I have not turned off heartbeats because things like listening for the take profit 1 to get hit so I can move my stop line to break even, that relies on a heartbeat. Because we're checking every 15 seconds to see if that line has been hit, right? Whereas now I have events and I can say, hey, whenever the line gets hit, TPSL line hit, then run this event, right? So that's pretty cool. Still got a lot of work to do with this. This actually takes over the log system. So instead of having logs, we now have event logs, and the logging system, the notification system, everything has been rewritten so that it's all one thing now. So notifications are just events that have a notification, flag on them. And so only certain logs will actually create a notification, right? But all of them are really the same thing. That's going to help when I'm doing stuff like, showing this log page here, showing all the logs. I'm also going to create an events page where you can see all the events from all strategies, and you can filter by strategy, you can do that stuff, and it'll all be in one place. In addition to the events page, it's going to have two different tabs like this. One will be the log that we just said for everything, but the other one will be a calendar page. And the calendar page is going to be a full calendar, like a month calendar, and you'll be able to click on a day and schedule an event to run at a specific time. And you can say, hey, this will be, an FTC announcement, or a market close, or a market open. And you can schedule these events to be one time or repeating, right? So you can set up whatever market opens and closes at whatever time on whatever day of the week, anything that you want. Fire those events, name those events whatever you want, just pick a name, and then go back into the strategy builder and say, hey, I want this rule to run on this event, the event that I just made, right? And then I know that whenever the market opens, I can wake the strategy up, or whenever the market closes, I can put the strategy to sleep using that rule, right? So that's pretty big. I think that's going to make a big difference in what we're doing. And I've also been working on the TA-lib stuff for the live data. I'm hesitant to say that that's coming because I've said it's coming before and I've put it off and stuff. But I am working on it in tandem with the events, and I'm hoping to get that out soon. So we'll see how that goes. Remember, TA-lib, the live data, is the ability to just take in RSI or EMA from Tradelab, so that we do it all for you, so that you don't need to send an alert from TradingView with your RSI. We can just do it in Tradelab, right? So that's something that I'm working on. Another thing that I set up in the testnet right now is 2 different security options. So one, I revamped our API security encryption. I used to have it using the Mongo secure field encryption, and actually it's still using the Mongo secure field encryption, but on top of that, what I've done is I've created a proprietary encryption using, well, I won't even go into what it's using, but it's encrypting. It's encrypting in the same way that I've done for other enterprise level software, right? So it's good encryption, and I've also made it a multi-part encryption. So I have a part, there's a randomly generated part that gets updated every so often, and then you have a part. So this is your part. You can never really see it. You don't even know what it is. You can't change it. But what you can do is hit reset security token, and this will reset your portion of it. By resetting your portion of it, that will invalidate all the API keys and everything. Now what I do is I run through all of your exchange connections, and I update them with this new security token that you just reset. So for the most part, it should be fairly seamless. However, doing this may take around 5 to 10 minutes for everything to completely change over. There might be some processes that are still using your old API key, and there are some invalidation cycles that go on every 5 or 10 minutes. So I even have a thing that says when you hit yes, it says, okay, it worked, but please wait up to 10 minutes for it to take effect, right? So that's how that works. Pretty cool. And then we also have setup MFA. So I've had some people ask about enabling MFA for your login, and now you can. So you can use Google Authenticator. You can use anything really. But here's the instructions for Google Authenticator. You can scan the QR code, or you can type in this long key there, and then you can type in your validation, so the 6 numbers, and that'll verify it. And then when you log in, it'll ask you to set up or to type in your MFA, forgot. So I'll set this one up. It was on a different account actually when I tested this last night. Replace. Alright, so that's verified, and now if we log out and log back in, it asks us for our code. So good. So new security and new event features are coming. Don't exactly know when I'm going to release this new big batch of updates, but we'll see. We just got it sort of stable in the past week or so since the last update. So I'm probably not going to release it for, I don't know, probably for a while. I know there's a couple people who really want to use the event stuff. I'll probably have them come over to testnet and use it over there. I am working on a plan to create a beta website. So I'm going to turn testnet into beta. And I'm going to make it more streamlined for you to opt in for beta. So you can go into the settings page and say, hey, turn on beta, and it'll say, are you sure? And you'll say yes, and it'll transfer all of your strategies. It'll transfer your exchanges, so you don't have to redo your exchanges. It'll transfer everything over, and then it'll give you the option to go back as well. And it's going to have a redirect so that when you go to app.tradelab.ai, if you've enabled beta, as soon as you go to app.tradelab, it'll just redirect you to beta. So it won't feel like you're going to go to two different websites and worry about which one that you're on. You're just going to go to settings and you're going to enable beta. And then you can turn beta off if you don't want to use beta anymore. Right? So that's what I'm going towards. It'll take me a little bit to get that set up, but by the time that we start testing and releasing this new batch of stuff that I'm doing, I want to do it through the new beta instead of doing it. It'll be the same. It's the same thing as the testnet. There is no difference. I'm just trying to make it more streamlined to get more people into it and make it feel, make you feel more at home when you're using it, instead of make you feel like I'm shoving you to this testnet thing and then you got to come back after you test and everything else. Yeah. So anyway, I've talked for nearly 2 hours now. I hope that covers everything that you guys might have seen that's been new, that you guys might have had questions about. And yeah, so new stuff that's coming, the events and the security stuff, so that's exciting. I will probably get the MFA out by itself pretty quickly. So within the next week or so, you guys will probably see the MFA option come up pretty quickly. So yeah, any questions?
Well, not for me, Jake. Thank you for taking the time again for 2 hours. Awesome updates, awesome overview. Really looking forward to the new stuff. But the stability is great. So yeah, as usual, great stuff from your side again.
What was that last part? As usual, what?
Sorry?
What was that last part? You said as usual, what?
Great stuff as usual.
Okay. All right. Good deal. Yeah. So I think, I think we're finally to a point where everything's stable again. It was a bit touch and go for a week or two, but I mean, honestly, guys, until I get the time and the resources that I need to really do this, full time, and I should also say I'm talking to a couple people who are interested in investing, and we're working to try to get me full time at some point. It's not happening as fast as I want, but if I'm going to continue doing this at the scale that I need to, getting the features that you guys want and keeping it stable, I'm gonna have to be full time, and I'm gonna have to have a little bit of help. And currently, it's only paying for itself, just barely paying for the servers, right? So there simply isn't enough to go around at the moment. But part of that is because we can't really get too many people in here. When we have too many people, we have too many problems, and I can't work. People can't get something to work, then they leave, and so we can't get people to stick around too long because there are problems and because there are things that I need to add and work on. But I can't continue to do that, and it takes me too long. I literally don't have time. I have to work, my day job and everything, and I just literally don't have time. And I've been doing this for 2 years now. I'm tired, man. Like I try to put on a smiley face, and I'm very happy to do this for you guys, but I'm freaking tired. So it comes down to the point of, I was talking to those other groups that want to put in like 20 million in volume and everything, and I told them, I was like, I'm proud of what I've made, and I know it works, and I know people do use it and it works. Am I super excited about having somebody put in $20 million in? Yes. But am I also fearful that things won't go exactly the way that I want? Yes. And this is where the stability and all that comes in. I just don't have time to sit down and do the testing and the all of that stuff that I need to do. And so that's basically what it comes down to, is I'm working to try to resolve that. right? It can't continue on for another 2 years the way that it's been continuing. It just can't. I'm planning on having a kid probably next year. So I'm gonna, my life's gonna change a good bit, right? And so I'm trying to get us in a position where I don't have to spend every waking hour on it to try to keep it running and everything else. But yeah, so all as to say, we've gotten it fairly stable, and I want to keep it in that stable. I don't really want to add too much for like the next month, 2 months. I want to keep everybody happy. I don't want to add too much, and then if I do add more stuff, I want to put it all on that beta. And then maybe if I add so much that like 50% of my users all want to use beta because there's so much stuff, that's what I'm looking at. That's probably going to happen just like that. And then at that point, when we have so many people on beta and they're all working, then I know that it's safe to merge it, right? So that's where I'm going right now. What we have right now is probably going to stay up there, and that's probably going to be what we have for quite a while. We'll probably have a couple small tweaks here and there that we'll talk about every week. But for the most part, a lot of these updates are going to be talking about what's in the testnet in the beta site, because that's where I'm going to do a lot of work, and I'm not going to release too much. I just want to keep it stable. For the past about a week, almost 2 weeks, I haven't had too many people contact me. Some of it's because some people have left because they got frustrated and they left, and that's fine. But I haven't had too many people otherwise send me messages saying that things aren't working. So, and that has allowed me to develop on the event system and other things and stuff like that. And so I want to keep it that way because it just gets to the point where every weekday I work all day. And then I get off of work and I work on Tradelab, but every night I don't get any work done. All I do is keep up with the bug requests or other things. Hey, can you look at this trade because I don't understand what happened here? And that takes up my entire night, Monday through Friday, basically. And so then the only time I actually get to work on anything is like the weekends. But then I'm so tired that sometimes I slack off. So it's just it's been a challenge, and I'm really looking forward to getting more time. And so yeah, I'm starting to talk to more people about that investment, and I'm also starting here on this live stream now, and going forward, I'm going to talk more about the fact that, guys, I've built this and I busted my ass, and I'm ready to have somebody put some money behind me. But before a year or two ago, I had people who were sort of wanting to throw money, and I told them, no, I'm not ready. It's not built yet. It's not ready. Now, I'm to the point where I've done everything I can by myself. I need a little bit more resources, and then we can get into the next step. So that's where I'm at. That's the summary of everything, and super appreciate all the support during those hard growing pain times.
Thanks, Jake, for your work. The testnet's been real great. There's, certainly changes that went through it, and with the other exchanges making all their changes, I can't believe you were able to keep up.
Yeah, it's been a challenge, but yeah, thanks. Glad we got it.
Thanks again.
Awesome.
Definitely huge kudos, man. Doing this part time, which is kind of full time, they have a day job, is definitely not for the weak.
Yeah.
I tried several platforms out there, Event 3 Commas. By far, from my experience, Tradelab is definitely the best, and we definitely appreciate everything that you do. The new event feature that you just put out, it's perfect actually, because we've been doing the microservice stuff with droplets and stuff. So now what we want to do is start combining them. So we are fully off TradingView. We are fully on Python now.
Awesome.
So now what we want to do is start to combine those microservices. So pretty much, you had to help us with the webhook. So and parsing it. Now we want to send, I guess, three different alerts into a single webhook. So pretty much, let's say if scenario one entry come in to wait for a large volume in before taking the trades. And I think with the event that you have set up, that's going to help us nicely. So I can't wait to play with it tomorrow.
Awesome, yeah. Yeah, so that event system's on the testnet right now. It ain't quite ready,
Okay.
but you can definitely. I mean, it's ready to play with. It should be functioning, so you can go in there and mess with it. But yeah, I still got some tuning up to do. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to rewatch the stream so I can understand how to use the event, but I will definitely use it and give you feedback.
Yeah, I think the thing that I'm most excited about for the events is I've been talking about it for a long time. People have asked about it over and over. Is a calendar page. So we're gonna have a whole new thing here called events on the left side. And when you click on events, it's going to bring you to a page that has two tabs. One's going to be just a list of events and logs for everything, site wide, right? And then the other tab is going to be a big calendar, like a monthly calendar, right? And then you get to click on any day and say, hey, put an event at 7 o'clock here, 7 p.m. And so whenever that event comes at 7 p.m., it'll fire that event. You can have a rule that listens for that event and will do something, right? And so you could also set up recurring events on your calendar. So you could say, hey, at the end of every single day at 5 o'clock, say that the market is going to close, right? Send an event for market close. At the end of Friday at 5 o'clock, send an event to shut it off for the weekend. That sort of stuff.
Okay. That's awesome, man. Oh, and huge thank you for getting Phemex working. Been using it pretty heavily for the past 3 weeks now. Spots and contract. So far, no issues.
Awesome. Wonderful. Awesome. Well,
Since you are trying to scale as far as groups and white label and stuff like that, maybe a suggestions as people doing those white labels or group, maybe at like you know how in the affiliate programs they have like a account information to disperse the fund, as well as a calendar, like what day of the month you want it to be dispersed.
yeah.
Figure if it is automated, that would be less work on you. I know you have to do some crazy math to
Yeah,
get that going.
so that's something that I do have on the roadmap and I am working on. It is not automated by any means right now, and also like you've seen, I don't have any statistics to show you how many people you have or anything like that. I do have all that information. I just haven't built a page for it, so I need to do that. And as far as the payout, that's something that I got to look into and mess with. So for you, and so far, I think you're the only one who's really. I think there might be one other group who has signed up, maybe one or two people. Right, but they haven't said anything about like where's my money or anything like that. It's probably
Oh,
nothing. But
right.
in terms like with what you got, you're probably one of the first people that I'm going to pay out, and so that's going to be it's going to be a learning experience between you and I.
Ready, because volume is coming your way. I have a radio interview tomorrow.
Oh wow!
And then
That sounds great. Wow.
interview in 2 months about that. Also, planning to do a cars and crypto botting event in Orlando for the summer. We are also sponsoring a kids back to school drive. So get ready, bro.
All right.
Congratulations. Sounds great.
Yeah, really congratulations. It sounds like you're doing a great job, PJ.
have a team behind me. So, and I also have a VC investor meeting Monday. So maybe time today or tomorrow, you and I can talk, see if they can help you as well.
Yeah, yeah. I am I am to the point where I'm, so over the past month or so, and you know a little bit about this, PJ, but I'll just be very light on it. I have, um, I've taken a different frame of mind, and I am now. I do need help, and I do need resources and stuff. Um, but I've been in the frame of mind where like I need resources, but I trying to figure out the best way to put this nicely. I'm basically putting everything on myself now, right? So if I need to go get resources, I'm gonna go get the resources, right? I'll talk to you. I'll talk to these other guys that I'm talking to. It's not like I'm just gonna go get the money, but I'll find the networks. I've been trying to rely on others to do that, and it hasn't been working. And so, and at this point, I have everything that I need, and like I have anything that somebody wants, I can do. I just need the time, and I need the resources to get the time, and I need to do it. And so, at this point, I'm more confident than I have been when it comes to the investment, and I'm also at this point with the way things are going. If I have to give up more in the investment, I have some plans with that, right? Because I do feel like the current equity split is needs to be adjusted, right? So
We can definitely talk offline about that, but I would say this though, one thing that we learned from Team Talkbox, doing this for 2.5 years now, in order to help people, you have to be in a position to help yourself. And
yeah,
I can tell that you are getting burnt out. So, if I can help, just let me know.
yeah. Well, that's what's happening. That's exactly where it is. Is like I want to help everybody, but I can only do so much, And I have relied on some other people to try to get me the things that I want or need, and it hasn't happened. So now I have to make those deals, and I have to do it. But I do think it's doable, and yeah, and we got to do it before I fall on my face. So
Yeah, yeah, man. So if I can help, man, seriously, just let me know.
yeah, yeah. Well, let me know when you got time to talk. You got that investor. Let me know how it goes, and this is me letting you know that I need help. This is me letting everyone know that I need help. So anybody who can, anybody who has anything that they can help me out with, don't be shy. Let me know, and we'll figure out a way to make it fair for you and help me, and we'll go from there.
Okay, sounds good.
Good. Sounds good.
Good deal.
So, Jake, question. It's like what time is it? It's 2 o'clock in the night over here. But do you have half an hour after this meeting to talk again together? Nothing strategic about TradeLab, but about strategies, but what we talked about 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
If you don't have the time, don't worry. We can reschedule for somewhere later, so don't worry about that. It's Saturday, so don't be shy.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was trying to remember what topic you were discussing, but yeah, no, I have time.
Okay, so give me a ping when this chat is over, and I will pick up the phone.
Okay, sounds good.
And one last thing, for the community browser, I know a lot of people don't have the time, so a lot of people are looking for copy trading. Besides the function, do you have any plan in the future to do like some type of incentive program? Let's say if Bob the builder share the bots to the community and someone copy it, um, like some type of, if somebody copy Bob the builder bot and they make X amount to get like a small percentage, or it's
Yeah.
probably easy to just do the group feature. But any plan in the future to encourage regular people in the community to create bots and publish them and share them?
Yes, yes. So this is something that I honestly wanted to be doing like now, but we don't have the community and we don't have the resources to do it. But I do have a plan that what I want to do is I want to create a new plan, a new priced plan that would be more expensive. Not exactly sure how much, but talking 100, maybe 200, which is what we used to do. But the whole point of this is that you buy this unlimited plan and you get access to the to all premium strategies, unlimited. Okay, premium strategies are strategies that people want to be paid for. So I have this strategy; it's really good. I don't just want to give it out to anybody. I want to sell it, right? So instead of me creating an organization and selling TradeLab and collecting, a fixed price for that plan, what I can do is I can put this out as a premium strategy. Then, in order for anybody to use that premium strategy, they have to have a premium account. Okay, if they have a premium account, they use that, and we only take, $50 or whatever out of the premium subscription, and the rest, whatever's left, $50, $100, whatever's left, is then put into a pool. And this is the same sort of thing that like TikTok does. TikTok, if you do a video on YouTube, ads run on YouTube on your videos, so we know exactly who's getting that ad money. You, because it ran on your video. But TikTok, if you've ever noticed, all the ads run in between videos. So then, how do you know who gets the money, right? Well, this is what they did. They created a creator fund. Okay, and so what you do is you pool all that money together, and you say, I'm going to give out $8 million this year or whatever, and then you take however many views that person got, and you say, oh, it's 0.3 cents for a view, and then you add those up. So it's the same thing here. We take all the money from the extra premium, okay, and we pool it all together every month, and then you made so many trades on your on your copy strategy, right? So if you made so many trades, there's so many trades made through all the premium strategies. So we add up the money, we divide it by how many trades, and that's how much money every trade gets. And then if somebody made 1,000 trades on there, then you get that money times 1,000. Right, and so is it going to be the same as like profit sharing or anything like that? No, it's going to be a smaller amount, but at the same time, we are paying based on per trade. That's what people want. They don't want a flat fee. They want to be, if somebody's using it more, I want more money. Well, that's how that works. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I want to do. That's definitely not set up because we don't even, I don't have, not only do I not have the monetary resources that if anything went wrong to sort of back myself up with, but I also don't have like the HR resources to do all those payouts and stuff. Like I got to set up a system for that, have somebody be able to monitor that finances and stuff and all that. So that's what I'm worried about. But that's what I'd like to do. How does that sound?
That's actually sound like a good idea. It's because people at the end of the day, let's be honest, they are selfish, right? Like if they're not gonna get anything in return, they won't less likely to participate. So if we create some kind of community bot building sharing program for them to benefit from, I think that will bring traffic too, because now you have people who's coming in for copy trading. They can copy from other bots, but the people who's putting in the work to copy them um, will get something in return. I'm not gonna lie to you, like doing copy trading is a lot of work. Like we had to set up 4 separate copy bots, like Kucoin, Phemex, Bitget, Bybit, and we have to maintain them, manage them, update them. It's a lot of work. But if we can come up with something for the community that they can benefit from, that will help you, because volume will be coming in, more traffic, more customers, more money, and there will also be your best form of advertisement. You can spend money on Facebook ads, YouTube ads, but at the end of the day, organic marketing is the best form of marketing.
Yeah.
So we'll talk more.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I think that's the end of this. I'm going to go ahead and shut off the stream. Thanks, everybody, for watching. If you like this, check us out at Tradelab.com, or sorry, Tradelab.AI, and leave us a like and subscribe for more updates. Catch you next time.
Thanks, Jake.